So Tommy, come on up here. Thank you so much.
Hey guys, it is my privilege and honor to be here in behalf of Bill. And we are working on some major developments I'm going to share with you at the end. You guys, this will be the first place we are ever revealing this information. But Bill, if you guys don't know who he is, Bill Binney, and most people do, but I'll give you a little rundown. Bill Binney is the man that's responsible for building out about 2/3 of the modern day NSA. And he left in the early 2000s, and when he left there, they're still using the, I shouldn't say out here, they're still using the stuff that he had originally developed. It's powerful. Bill has been continuing to work on things. His stuff was so innovative at that time, they've never been able to get better. So that's pretty powerful. And so we have been working on this Russian collusion stuff back in 2018, early in 18. We had servers set up in the United States and all over Europe. And what happened at that particular time is we've seen this stuff come out on the Lucifer 2 data. Right? Are you guys familiar with that? This is what Rosenstein tried to build his case on, this bogus Lucifer 2 data. And so what happened is we set up servers in the US, and we set up servers across Europe, and they decided they would see how fast they could get this stuff to go across the web. And at the end of the day, from a data point in New Jersey to a data point in Britain was the fastest they could get, and it was about 25% of the published speed. So you guys can go to AmericaRestored.us and see all of this. We have more, so basically there's no possible way it could have been a Russian hack. So we were able to get this information to Rudy Giuliani while President Trump was in Helsinki. So do you guys remember when the president was in Helsinki and he was going to go over there and call Putin out originally, and he got out of there and he's like, well, wait a minute, you know, Putin said he didn't do it. Well, we had sent the forensic evidence, which is only published at AmericaRestored.us. You guys can find it there. Amazing stuff. I mean, it's basically forensic evidence proving the DNC was not hacked by Russia. And their 25% of the speed was as fast as we could get. So with that said, it gets even better. So what ends up happening is we recognize at the end there's a FAT file format, FAT, that's published at WikiLeaks. So when you see that stuff, it's powerful because that's a storage drive, guys. So most of us already know what happened. But this is forensic evidence proving that the DNC was not hacked by Russia. It gets better. So in the Stone and Flynn cases, we have Bill being called as an expert witness because if there was no Russian collusion, there was absolutely no way that they should have been able to get a warrant on these guys because there was no crime. Right? Guess what happened? The judge threw it out. Didn't even hear the arguments. So, powerful stuff happening behind the scenes, guys. We are digging deep. We're finding out what's going on. We know there was no Russian collusion. You hear now that they're coming back with the same narrative. The same narrative basically saying that, you know, we better watch out, you know, we're going to be hacked by the Russians again when it never happened in the first place. By the way, backing up a little bit, simultaneously, while President Trump was in Helsinki, Rosenstein is coming out with his big indictment on the Russians for spies for spying, right? So, I mean, and it's basically built on this Lucifer 2 data that's a complete fraud. One more powerful thing I want to say about that data is Bill's a cryptographer. And so when Bill began to look at this data, he basically looks at the data and he sees that in the milliseconds that these files can merge together perfectly. So they screwed with the data. The data basically is 2 reports that when Bill looks at the milliseconds, it merges into 1 report. And you guys can actually see that forensic evidence at AmericaRestored.us. So there is no possible way that there was a Russian hack. There's forensic evidence proving that there wasn't. And then you've got the FAT file, which basically is published at WikiLeaks, and we see that it's actually a storage device. That's what that means. And so I've got interviews. Bill's explaining this a little bit more in detail, but it's stuff you guys need to see.
No Russian hack.
There was no Russian hack. It's forensic evidence proving there was no hack of the DNC, proving there was no crime committed, proving that the Stone and Flynn should have never had warrants pulled on them, and the judges wouldn't even hear it. It was a really big hoax. By the way, you guys, Bill is the Vice President of America Restored, and I'm going to go back just a little bit about Bill. This is so important, and then I'm going to lead up to our stuff. Okay, so this is the thing about Bill. People say, well, he left in the 2000s, his technology is outdated. He's mentioned in the movie 3 times, Snowden, the movie 3 times. We know from the movie Snowden that Bill Binney's technology is still being used in the modern day NSA to this day.
No Russian hack.
So basically what that means, you guys, it's really important that you catch this. I need everyone in this room to catch what I'm saying, right? This Bill's technology is still being used in the NSA today, but they didn't want to implement the best part of it, the thin thread program, because they would have busted. They would have been able to prevent the intelligence agencies from looking in on anything. That's what Bill's stuff did. It picked needles out of haystack. It was proven that Bill would have actually discovered 9/11 before it happened. Bill's forte is bulk data. His forte is bulk data, meaning not forte, unparalleled, nothing out there like it. It's never been reinvented. The NSA has never been able to get better. Bill's the bomb. He has technology that's never been recreated. Right? Until now! You guys, we are right now, Bill up to this date has never ever even asked for money for a speaking engagement because he never wanted anyone to ever accuse him of going for the money.
Never read a book.
Yeah, he never wrote a book. He never got money on the movie. Nothing. You know what? So listen to this, you guys. That's why Bill's on board with the non-for-profit. Because this is what we're going to do. We're going to build out Bill's technology right now. And we need every freedom-loving American to get on board. We're going to build out a program. Then go to AmericaRestored.us. Join Type 1. Check this out. This is so powerful. We're going to build out a system that can clean up the voter rolls in 1 minute.
History. George Washington's great at codes. William Benning is like a savant of codes and computers, and he created the whole modern NSA. And then when he exposed the corruption, they went after him and tried to kill him. He doesn't make a big deal about it. They poisoned him at the Senate lunch here. He lost his legs. He's a real patriot. We really appreciate him. And that's what people have gone through to bring you this level of information. We're talking about 3D imaging, digital quantum computing mapping, and literally being able to judge pre-crime. The system didn't want to use that. I'm not even sure I'm for that, actually. But they wanted it all to continue. They used the computers to continue the crime and to continue the criminality and then spot everybody else. It's